Okay, this is a short YouTube about the difference between print and return. On the right, there's a script showing the file that I'm going to run, and inside the script, inside this file, there are two functions: print add to, which simply prints whatever the parameter x is plus 2, and then return add to, which is a parameter x and returns x plus 2. So by using these two, we'll get some insight into what the differences are. So the main then uses these two functions to do different things. And so let me go ahead and run the main in the Python shell. So I'm going to enter a value of 5 here, and then it's going to do what main asks it to. And there's an error at the end that I'll talk about in a moment. And so the first thing I ask it to do is to get an input from the user, which you see right up top here. And then what is done is I ask print add 2 of x to execute and return add 2 of x to execute. And what you see there is you see print add 2 of x prints out 7. Return add 2 of x doesn't do anything. And then so well, let's keep looking here so we can get some insight into what's going on. So the next thing I ask it to do is I ask it to print out print add 2 of x and then print out return add 2 of x. And what you see next here is there's two lines that result from this the execution of this line right here. And the first one is 7 pops up, and then you have class none type and class int. So let me just say what's happening there. When the print statement executes, the first thing it sees is this, and then this will execute, which is where the 7 comes from. Then print will try and print this. But what happens with print add 2 of x is it does not return a number. It returns num. Its only function is to print out on the screen. And so it prints out none right here. And on the other hand, return add 2 of x returns 7 in this case, because 5 has been put into the value of x by the user. And so it prints out the 7. So there's an interesting contrast here between what happens here and what happens here. So what happens here, return add 2 by itself doesn't do anything in the script, but if you print what return add 2 returns, then indeed a 7 pops up. A none pops up for print add 2, since print add 2 doesn't return anything but none. And then furthermore, if I type out what the type of each one of these functions is, print add 2 of x and return add 2 of x, print add 2 of x returns none type, and return add 2 of x returns int type. Returns int type because there's an int input here. If you put a float input here, it would have been class float. And then again, you see this 7 because before the type is executed, before the print add 2 of x, the type of that is taken, print add 2 of x executes, which is where this 7 comes from. Okay, the last two things I do is I show that return add 2 of x squared gives me 49. Whereas if I try and do the same thing with print add 2 of x, again a print add 2 of x will print out 7 on the screen, but then what it will, since print add 2 of x returns none, none squared is an operation that is illegal in Python, and so that's what it's saying. It's saying unsupported operand type for squaring and int being the 2, and none type being the none that returns from add 2 of x. And so that's basically it. I guess the summary message is when you print something, it sends the output to the Python shell. The more flexible way to do things is to return a value, because then you can print it, you can do something else with it, for example squaring it, or give it to another function. Not so if you print it. So printing and returning are quite different.